welcome back to the deep dive. If you're looking for a blueprint on how to turn, well, pure grit, street cred, and just absolute quality control into a nationally scaled business, you are definitely in the right place today.
Yeah, absolutely.
We are deep diving into the rise of Juan Quesada and the brand that, you could argue, really defined the whole aesthetic of modern high-end cannabis.
Yeah.
Backpack Boyz.
It's a fascinating story.
So our mission today really is to kind of reverse engineer how they did it. We're not just summarizing, a business case study.
No, not at all.
We are searching for the playbook elements, the strategic steps, maybe some surprising facts that let a local delivery operation basically jump this huge gap between the traditional, the legacy market, and the super regulated, complex world of legal cannabis.
Right.
We want to know how they built that cultural buzz first and then figured out how to monetize it legally.
And that bridging, that's exactly why this story is so critical right now. You've got an industry just flooded with venture capital, traditional corporate types. But the Backpack Boyz story, it shows that authenticity, that genuine demand built, literally on the street level.
Yeah.
It's often way more powerful than some big celebrity deal or a standard marketing push.
Okay.
So we're tracking the journey. Small hustle to multi-state operator, and the foundations, they're really quite surprising when you dig in.
All right, let's dig in then. Section 1, the foundation of grit and discipline. Let's start with the founder, Juan Quesada. His origin, it's rooted in the 925 area code, Pittsburg, California.
Yep.
And the drive, the sources really emphasize this. It came from real-world need. Raised by a single mom who provided, sure, but that ambition for more, it sounds like it came from what's described as community struggle.
Yeah, that classic engine, right?
Well,
wanting more than you have. Yeah. But the sources also point to a darker period that really forged his ambition.
Okay.
Those key years between 18 and 25. He apparently spent more time locked up than free, cycling in and out, and that hardship seems to have created this intense, almost desperate hunger for a total life reset. It demanded he find structure somewhere.
And where did he find? This is the part I find fascinating. It's often missed in these stories. Not college, not some early business thing.
No, exactly. He found discipline on the mat. Martial arts.
Right.
He trained with the Bay Area's Grat Pack, part of that legendary Cesar Gracie San Francisco line. And get this, he actually achieved the rank of USA Jiu-Jitsu black belt.
Hold on, a black belt in jiu-jitsu? That's like a decade-plus commitment. That's serious discipline.
It absolutely is. And if you connect that to the bigger picture, it kind of explains a lot about the brand's later success, doesn't it?
How so?
Well, the sources suggest that the rigor, the discipline, the insane attention to detail you need for martial arts mastery, that's the exact same discipline he applied later on.
To the business.
To the business. Specifically, relentless quality control, consistency, thinking long-term strategy. It's actually pretty rare to see that kind of discipline carry over, especially in a chaotic startup scene like early cannabis.
Okay, that makes sense. So Section 2, the Prop 215 launch and the birth of the brand. He's got this black belt level discipline now, and he makes the pivot in 2016. California's under Prop 215 then.
Right, the old medical framework, looser rules.
Yeah, before full rec. And the sources mention a very specific startup cost. He scraped together about $4,200.
Just over $4,000.
To get a cannabis lawyer and launch a legal delivery service. That $4 to $2K, that's the seed money for this whole empire we're talking about.
It really is. Humble beginnings.
And the name, Backpack Boyz, it's so practical, so grounded in that initial hustle. It came from him always carrying 2 bags, right?
Yep. One for his fighting gear and a separate work backpack for deliveries.
I feel like every entrepreneur starts with 2 bags. One with lunch, one full of sheer panic.
Agrees lightly, pretty much. But that simplicity hit a really sharp strategy from day one. What made them different from every other little delivery service popping up?
The product.
Exactly. They didn't just sell whatever. They specialized, sources say, in stacking specific high-end exotics. Think Billy Kimber OG, Gelato 41, Gushers, Peanut Butter Breath.
The stuff everyone really wanted, the top shelf flavors.
The absolute top shelf, which raises the question, how does a small Pittsburgh delivery service get access to the most in-demand premium genetics like that?
Good question. How?
The sources reveal a key playbook move. Quesada would literally DM these top-tier cultivation brands, the established ones.
Okay.
And he'd immediately follow up by sending them his Prop 215 paperwork.
Smart. Professional.
Very. It showed legitimacy, cut through the noise. It instantly set him apart from just some casual hustler, made people take him seriously.
So Section 3, Networking and the realization of a brand. That approach, showing you're serious and have the best product, it must have attracted the right people. How did that network start to build?
It grew organically but fast. He connected early with really key players. Garrison Lane, for example, who later became 5 Points.
The Billy Kimber OG guys.
The Billy Kimber OG guys, exactly.
Yeah.
It wasn't just buyer-supplier, it sounds like a real collaboration built on respecting quality.
And he didn't just stay local in the Bay Area either, did he?
No, crucial move there. He became a key Bay rep for these high-end strains, specifically pushing them south into Los Angeles.
Conquer L.A.
You got it.
Yeah.
That was essential for stamping BB in SoCal. He knew the brand needed that cultural weight outside its home zone.
Makes sense.
And the network got deeper through, like, cultural recognition, too. He met the Cookie Monster 415, who really believed in the product and started backing the Backpack Boyz menus, their strains.
Okay.
And then you have Bay Area legend Be Legit amplifying the brand. That gives it serious street cred right there in the Bay.
So this is the shift, isn't it? He starts out running a service, basically logistics for great weed. But because the demand was so intense, the quality was consistent, the menu is unique, the sources suggest Backpack Boyz was becoming this brand in motion way before they had, formal corporate plans.
Totally. The customers were already treating it like an iconic brand because they knew what they were getting every single time. Consistent quality, unique flavors.
Which leads us perfectly into Section 4. The Lemon Cherry Gelato era and pandemic scale. This is where things get really wild, and we hit the main booster rocket for the brand, Lemon Cherry Gelato, LCG.
Yeah, the LCG origin story is honestly kind of shocking considering how valuable it became.
How so?
It came from a Gelato 33 bag seed.
Wait, a bag seed? Like a random seed found in a bag of weed?
Essentially, yeah. A grower buddy of Quesada's had it, a high-quality accident, basically. Yeah. And that became the foundation for a multi-million-dollar flagship strain.
That's unbelievable. The industry spends fortunes on certified, tracked genetics, and their biggest hit comes from a random seed.
It really speaks more to their quality control and cultivation skill than just pedigree, Right. But what was super intentional was the branding around LCG.
Okay.
The sources are clear. They deliberately carved their own lane, naming it Lemon Cherry Gelato. Why? To dodge the runts rename wars or fake accusations.
Can you unpack that runts rename wars bit for us?
Sure. It's basically the exhausting drama in the traditional market over who really bred super popular strain, who named it, who has the real cut. It damages reputations.
Got it. So by creating and aggressively branding LCG as their unique thing,
they legally walled themselves off from all that conflict from day one. Smart. And they also locked in consistency early with the direct-to-print bags. That meant consistent heat every time and harder to tamper with.
That consistency, that quality, it was perfectly timed for the huge scale-up during the pandemic, right? 2020 to 2022.
Exactly, because they had nonstop drops, ironclad quality control, and they were willing to travel anywhere the demand was. The traditional market for Backpack Boyz just exploded nationwide. That partnership with 5 Points was crucial, too. Keeping those candy cuts, those high-demand, top-quality genetics flowing across state lines. They became a national force, all built on that traditional market framework first.
Okay, Section 5, the license breakthrough and cultural stamp. So all that hard work in the traditional market, it builds this massive wave of demand.
Huge wave.
That crashes right when they move into the legal, regulated space. The sources point to one major moment. The Cookies Melrose Lemon Cherry Gelato drop, it just went viral instantly.
Totally viral. The buzz was insane.
And that momentum leads directly to opening their first flagship store. Backpack Boyz, Mid-City, California, in L.A., March 2021. And here's the number. This is the one that just blows my mind. Day one sales, $483,000.
$483,000 in one day.
That's astronomical for any retail opening, let alone cannabis.
And what's really significant about that number, and sources hammer this point home, they achieved it with no celebrity push.
Right, no big endorsement.
None. It wasn't driven by famous faces or ad spend. It was pure organic cultural power they built for years. The real enthusiasts, the trappers, the connoisseurs, people flew in from all over the country, lined up down the block. 4 blocks.
Wow.
That line, that opening day, that moment, stamping Backpack Boyz in culture. It proved their legacy market authenticity translated directly into massive legal market dollars.
So that cultural proof point becomes the launch pad for massive expansion, right? How did they leverage that huge first day?
They moved fast, used that California dominance as their base, and immediately started setting up multi-state operator deals, MSO deals.
Okay.
opens Long Beach, San Diego later that same year, cementing their Cali power. By 2022, they inked a major partnership with the Flowery down in Florida, hitting those big emerging markets.
Smart. Florida's huge.
Huge potential.
Yeah.
And they're still going. License deals opening in Arizona in 24, New Jersey's pending, cultivation partnerships in Washington, Nevada, even a Detroit, Michigan deal signed way back in 19 that finally started sales in 24.
So they built the demand, built the culture, then used that leverage to get premium licensing deals everywhere.
Exactly. They aren't just selling weed. They're selling this defined candy culture aesthetic that people are lining up for. They built the demand first.
Which brings us to Section 6. Protecting the pack and the legacy. Because when you create something that hot, that culturally resonant...
You immediately become a target.
Right. Counterfeiters must have been a nightmare. Protecting the brand probably became the most expensive part.
Oh, absolutely. The sources talk about battling toy district fakes. These counterfeit operations pumping out fake packaging that looked just like theirs.
So how do you fight that?
Constant vigilance. They had to constantly shut down websites, kill sites. And get this, they rotated the art on their packaging, sometimes daily, even for the same strain, just to stay one step ahead of the fakes.
Daily art changes. That's intense.
Incredibly intense.
Right.
And this is where that structure, that discipline we talked about, comes back in again. Rotating art wasn't enough.
Right.
They went after their brand assets legally,
Mm-hmm.
methodically, using trademarks, using UDRP, that's the Uniform Domain Name Dispute Resolution Policy, to legally lock down and defend the brand name, the imagery.
Treating the brand itself as the core asset.
Exactly. Fiercely defending it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at the whole story, Juan Quesada really forged a new path here. He bridged legacy to legal, like we said.
Yeah.
And he pretty much defined that whole candy lane look and feel in modern cannabis. He didn't just ride a wave, he named his own wave with Lemon Cherry Gelato.
Right, off a bagseed.
Off a bagseed. And through that intense discipline and smart networking, he helped write the playbook for turning real street demand into massive regulated success.
That really is the playbook distilled, isn't it? That $4 2K lawyer fee leading somehow to a nearly $500,000 opening day in L.A.
Yeah.
All driven by a choice cultivation, find that Gelato 33 bag seed, and zero reliance on expensive celebrity hype. It just shows the incredible power of authenticity when you combine it with relentless discipline. So what's the takeaway here for you, the listener, whether you're in cannabis or any industry?
Well, consider this final thought. Building on everything we've talked about, the sources really emphasized that Quesada's first structure came from earning that jiu-jitsu black belt.
Right, mastering the mat before the market?
Exactly. So given the unbelievable success of the accidental LCG genetics versus the absolute necessity of rigor in quality control, brand protection, scaling fast, all things demanding intense long-term focus. Was the discipline learned on the mat ultimately more critical, more valuable to his long-term success than the amazing genetics he eventually marketed? Does that kind of structured discipline offer the most important competitive edge when you're trying to turn a chaotic legacy operation into a huge, scalable, legal brand?
That's a really interesting way to flip the usual cannabis success narrative. Something to think about. Go explore that idea, leveraging underground expertise but locking it down with rigid corporate structure. We'll see you next time on The Deep Dive.